So I'm going to show you some of the changes that take place when you update your iPad to iPadOS 14, which is the most recent update from Apple that came out this October. So for the most part, things look primarily the same. You don't notice a whole lot of differences off the bat. You do have a new little bar down here at the bottom, which shows you what page you are on when you are swiping from page to page in your apps. So if I'm going through from page to page, I can tell where I am in my pages of apps. So I can tell right now, since this first one here is highlighted, I am on the front page of all of my apps. Now, if I'm on that front page and I swipe to the left, you are now going to see this little section that used to be called your Today view, but it actually features what are called widgets. And you have a bunch of different ways that you can customize these widgets to control what information shows up here. And so the easiest way to do that is if I just swipe through these widgets all the way down to the bottom, there's an option that says Edit. And this will show me all of the widgets I have available to me based on the apps that I have installed on my device. So first of all, I can choose whether or not I want these widgets to always be visible, where I don't have to swipe to the left to get to them, which is fine. It's up to you whether you'd like to do that or not. But if I, again, go to Edit, I have all of these different groups, and so I can remove a group by tapping on the minus sign. It'll ask me to remove, and I could do the same thing with any of these others. Now, if I wanted to add a widget, you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, there is now a plus sign. When I tap on that plus sign, it now gives me the ability to add widgets based on, again, what apps I have installed. So, for example, one of the widgets that I may want to add has to do with calendar. And so if I tap on my calendar app, this will show me 3 different views of my widget. So if, again, you'll notice down here at the bottom, there's 3 different views. This is the small widget. If I swipe to the right, this is the medium version of the widget. And then this is the large version with more details. So I can pick and choose which version of that widget I want. So maybe I want the small or medium size here. And if I tap on it and just simply add widget, then that gets added just like that. So here are a few of the widgets that I would recommend that you may want to consider turning on. So I have my battery life widget turned on, which shows me the battery of my device and then any other Bluetooth things that are connected to it. I also have the simple weather, and I can tap on that weather and it'll take me actually to weather.com to get a full forecast if I want. I can also access the calendar. I have my calendar set up here, so I can access and see, and simple tap will take me directly into my calendar. I also have the Files widget installed. The Files widget shows me my Files app, and that Files app has all of the most recent documents that I've updated right here. So if I've saved things on my device, chances are all those recordings are going to be right there, and they're simply one click away, where I could simply tap on it, and it would take me right into one. And then finally, I also have my Reminders widget. If I use my Reminders app to be able to keep track of things, I could use that Reminders widget in order to keep track of those reminders and see what things I have coming up. So that's one of the big changes in iOS 14 is the ability to now have widgets on your device to be able to control things. Now, another thing I may notice is that a lot of my apps have gotten some slight updates as well. And one of the biggest changes is now the use of a sidebar. So if I open up my Photos app, you'll notice the Photos app now has a sidebar that is always there to be able to get to your albums, search for things, find specific images and things like that. There's also a lot of other apps that now use a sidebar. So for example, the Notes app now has a sidebar that's going to show up all of the time. But probably the biggest change came in the Files app. You may not have really understood the Files app or used the Files app before, but the Files app has gained a pretty powerful sidebar that allows you to see your recent documents, any documents you've shared with other people, your iCloud Drive files, your files that are saved on your iPad, things that have been downloaded to your device. All those things are pretty easy to find now. You also have the ability in the upper right-hand or upper corner of that Files sidebar that you can now control and edit it to be able to turn on other things. So Google Drive is an option that I can have all my Google Drive files in here. all show up at the same time. So a lot of different options, a lot of different things that I can do here. I also have the ability now in the Files app to be able to more easily create folders. So I can simply go into my iCloud Drive and hit the plus sign to make a folder. It'll generate a folder directly into here quickly and easily. I also can go ahead and control the view of my Files app, and I can look at things in list view or column view, depending on how I want to be able to sort that information out. So the Files app got a big update in iPadOS 14. Another small change has to do with some simple things that you do on your device and how they take over your screen. So if I wanted to search, I could simply move my cursor and swipe down in any empty area, and I'll get a quick search box. That search box is now a small box that does not take up your whole screen like it used to before. It also now has audio dictation to be able to dictate that search directly in it, just like you would use with Siri. Now, speaking of Siri, Siri also got an update. If I were to press and hold on my home button, Siri now shows up in the corner instead of taking over my entire screen. So I can keep working on whatever I'm working on, and Siri doesn't distract from whatever else is going on there, which is helpful. Now you'll notice a few other tweaks and things that might appear in apps, but for the most part, that's pretty much all there is to iPadOS 14.